Liberty and justice for all.
Now we'll confirm quorum. I'll start and then we'll begin from the right to the left. Luke Freemuth, present.
Mike Maddow.
Oh, sorry. Matt left to right. Mike.
Okay, go ahead, left to right.
Yeah.
Mike Maddow.
George Seaborn.
Steve Turner.
All right. Next order of business is to approve or amend the minutes from our May 12th, 2026 meeting. Sure if everybody's had a chance to take a look at it.
I'd like to make a motion that we accept these exceptional minutes for the Tuesday, May 12th meeting.
Do I have a second?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. All right. Now we'll start with new business. So first item is the request to allocate NIP funds for benches and trash cans.
Yep. So,
Can you hear me?
oh, you're here. Great.
I'm here. Yes, I'm calling from New Hampshire. And yes, I'm here. And I could speak to it if I should.
Yes, please.
Okay, so the town of Thomaston has done a lot of work to improve the downtown with new street lights, the toppers that were done trash cans using the NIPS fund. We have done a lot of gardening, and now it's time for benches. First of all, it's Mary Beth Johnson calling. I don't think I told you that, but so I would really like to improve the benches throughout town. So back in April, I attended the Rotary meeting, and I spoke with Rotary about the benches, and they are going to take on trying to get a grant from the district for benches. And then I would really like to use the NIPS fund for the 7 benches for Seth Thomas Park. The benches are well known to Thomaston. There's one literally right outside Town Hall by the entrance to the Opera House. It's the brown Sterling. It's called a Sterling Memorial Bench from Barco Company. And there are several of these benches throughout town already. And I'd like to purchase 7 more for Seth Thomas Park. They have a long warranty they're made of a composite material and then metal ends, and they have a metal bar underneath the bench, but they're very sturdy. So my request to you, first of all, I would entertain any questions that you have. I can also tell you that there are a possible total of 15 benches that will go in Thomaston. These 7 are part of 15 benches, including the Rotary benches and then memorial benches that are coming up. So it really is it will be a large statement in Thomaston if we get to do all of this. So if you have any questions, I would entertain any questions.
George Seaborn. Mary Beth, for the record, could you tell the board and the public exactly how much each bench would be for?
I have a quote. If Tracy is there, she has the quote. The from the Barco Company, the total for the 7 benches is $7,993.80. This includes it includes the bench, shipping, and engraving of 40 characters, including spaces on the top, would be on the top bar. And then the other question would be, what would you like these benches engraved with? what would you like them to say? But that is the total cost.
And should the Rotary Club fund some of these benches at least?
Yeah.
They would bear the Rotary symbol?
It's up to Rotary to decide what you want on the bench.
Okay, so
This price includes 40, just as I just said, the 40
Right.
characters, which includes the spacing.
so that will be done based on what Rotary needs.
Yes, Rotary can decide what they want on their benches, and that may change the quote. But I generally the benches in town are all done with simply with writing.
Okay, so just to be clear, these are not the Rotary benches. These are benches, town benches. Of the 15 that we need, these are, or the 15 that are recommended, these are
Yes.
7 that'll be provided for by the town
Yes,
as an allocation to NIPS money.
that is correct. I'm asking you for Board of Finance to finance 7 benches out of the NIPS fund.
Okay. And these will be in
Seth Thomas Park.
Seth Thomas Park. And that'll
Yes.
be all the benches in Seth Thomas Park. So all these the other benches will be allocated to other places in town.
No, that's one is a memorial bench from my family, the Hotchkiss family. And my family would like to put that one in Seth Thomas Park, which would make 8 benches there.
Okay. And then the benches, the existing benches that we're looking to reallocate are not part of the 15 benches. Those are benches that we currently own that'll be put in places that currently don't have benches.
I'm recommending that the benches that are in Seth Thomas Park be moved to the various bus stops that are down South Main Street because they don't have any benches. And people have to stand waiting for the bus. And I think we could just take them and move them down South Main Street and have each bus stop have a bench with the old benches.
That's the next question. Yeah. Tracy, the NIPS funds that we're looking to allocate, what's the total value there?
Sorry, I don't. $45,908.
45,000?
Yep, available. Yep.
Okay, so we're looking to allocate 7, almost
Basically
$8,000.
$8,000. Mm-hmm.
And can you just remind us that the NIPS money comes with some requirements or rules around it?
The town of Thomaston, I've worked with Deb Bourneval for a long time trying to use this fund. We used it for the trash cans, and it does come with a recommendation to use it for something related to recycling, that kind of thing. So we purchased the trash cans. Gosh, I don't know if it's last year or the year before. I think it was the year before. And we had 18 trash cans that the town of Thomaston purchased using NIPS money. We've tried to get some very specific information about what they consider appropriate and not appropriate, and they really do not give very good guidelines. It's very kind of nebulous, and we consider that these benches are made of composite material and therefore consider them to be a recycling product. Any other? Yeah.
It's consistent with how we've used the funds in the past. Is it? I'm sorry, is that 45,000 from the current year? Or is
Yeah,
that collectively?
Total.
Okay.
Since it started a couple of years ago, yeah.
Somebody else had to be thinking that same question.
Right. The NIPS money is, if you have any questions about how that money comes along, all NIPS sold in the state of Connecticut have a deposit on them, and the town where the NIPS are purchased receives that money directly back from the state to be used for recycling, various things. That there are various ways that it's been used. So as I say, it's kind of nebulous they're not very specific. They just say recycling or environmentally, I don't have the paper with me, but Tracy may be able to help me, or Deb Bournevil's not there, but we really have tried hard to get better
We asked
qualifications, but
We've asked them several different ways to
Yeah.
clarify, and the only thing they're willing to provide is a list of things that it has been spent on
yeah,
collectively by other towns
Okay.
that they know of.
Right.
And
we're
they
con-
will neither confirm nor deny whether those are acceptable uses or not.
Doesn't
So-
sound like they're gonna be doing much to go after us.
They're state employees. Like, that's all you're gonna get.
But it sounds like we would be spending it consistently with how it's been.
Yes.
How we've spent it.
We feel it's a defensible expense.
Materials and putting it near trash cans to try to keep,
Yeah.
the park clean.
Sure.
I think that's the goal.
I'd like to make a motion that we use $7,993.16 from the NIP money for the purchase of 7 Sterling Memorial benches
Barco.
and
Mhm.
from Barco Products
Do I have a
as
second?
presented to us earlier this evening.
Do we have a second?
A second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
Good.
There's actually a second part.
There's a
to that,
second
too.
piece to this. Yeah, which I'll bring you through. Thank you, Mary Beth.
Okay, thank you so much, you guys. It's going to look really spectacular in town, and I really appreciate your efforts and your willingness to do this.
Well, we thank you for all your efforts to help beautify the town for sure. Thank you.
Yes, thank you. Okay. All right, I'm going to sign off.
Thanks. Bye.
Okay, bye-bye.
We also have a requisition for 3 more trash kind of combo recycling bins like we have right outside here and we have in other places throughout the town. The rec department would like to increase the number that are around Nystrom's, and they are looking for 3 more. Those are a little bit more expensive. They're just over $1,000 a piece. So with shipping, it would be like a not to exceed 3,500 number, also from the NIPS fund.
So moved.
Second.
I don't think I could make a motion anymore.
Hey,
Somebody
we
needs
could
to. make
amend
a
it.
motion.
Just say not to exceed 3,500. Think we can get in there? Not to exceed 3,500.
Yeah, I make a motion that we use $3,500 of DIPS funds to place 3 of the recycling / trash bins up at Nystrom's Park for the recommendation from the rec department.
Do I have a second?
That should not exceed 35. Right. That cost should not exceed $3,500.
Second.
All right, all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
Said better.
Thank you.
He did. Yeah. Next is a discussion around the transfer of capital funds for engineering services for industrial stormwater general permit registration assistance.
Okay, so I'll take you through this real quick. We are required to file a stormwater pollution prevention plan for 3 of our facilities, the WPCA, the Public Works Garage, and the transfer station. Those we looked at those, and the one for WPCA has been done internally on a regular basis, but the one for the other 2 locations has not been done in a timely manner. But I will tell you that Bert offered to take a swing at it and try and get it done for us, so we wouldn't have to hire someone to go do it. When I went out for quote, I sent it out to 3 parties. Only one replied, which was Wesson and Sampson. They wanted $15,000 for each one, which, since we didn't have any money in the budget, I was sort of scratching my head. Bert stepped up and volunteered to try and go through the process and fill it out for us, which he did and submitted it. However, those two for the transfer station and public works are so old that we have to basically restart the process. So what I did was I went back to Weston and Sampson and showed them everything that Bert had pulled together already and said, hey, is there any way you can do this cheaper? And they came back and said, we'll finish these two for you for just over 15,000. So like 15,600, which we also don't have money for. But we really need to, this is a requirement and we need to get this done.
We're not facing any fines, are we?
Not yet.
So Richard asked me where we could get the money for that, so I went back through some of the capital projects that have completed, that had remaining balances. Normally, we just push those down to unassigned capital, but I thought this was a good use of that money. So the Carter Road project, Old Smith Road, the solar study, and that left a balance of about 1,500, so that there's money in that road repair capital account. So I thought that was the best way to get the 15,600, so we can get this project done. So we would just be reallocating capital money.
Make a motion that we reallocate capital funds from the Carter Road project totaling $3,618. Reallocate $6,506 from the Smith Road project. We reallocate $3,890 from the solar panel study project and the road repair project for $1,586 for a total amount of $15,600 to reallocate Weston instance of registration assistance that they're gonna offer us for the stormwater registration. Yeah.
Good thing she's recording it. Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Motion carries.
Thank you. The next one's me as well.
So,
The next one's me as well.
yeah. So, discussion around crew leader and mechanic compensation?
Yep.
Yep.
Thanks. Good news is I'll have no first selectman's report by the time I'm done.
Yeah. I
Um,
doubt it.
So there's two things going on here, and I'm going to go to the mechanic piece first. So we have two open positions in Public Works. One is for a maintainer and one is for a mechanic. We think we have identified a good candidate for the maintainer role, which is good news. We've been without that role for a while. And we're going to put forth an offer shortly. Or did it already happen? Already happened. Okay. So
July 6th.
okay, so as long as the person passes their background check, they will start first week in July. Now, we've been looking through a few mechanic applications, not a lot. They're all from folks that work at car dealerships, no experience on diesel, no air brake experience, no nothing. So we went through and used some CCM data to figure out what is an average pay scale. What we determined for towns that are about our size with about the same budget is that we're about $1.50 lower than the average on what we're offering. So I would like the board to consider potentially increasing the pay scale for the mechanic pursuant, of course, to discussions with the union and et cetera. Like to consider increasing that pay scale by $1.50 to see if we can start to get some per hour.
Yeah. Yeah, George. Think we could find $1.50 otherwise.
We're struggling. We don't
Yeah.
have any suitable candidates.
Is, are you looking for just a reassurance from the board? Because I don't, is that, would the pay scale be something that we would approve, or we would just approve an allocation for?
And I guess the other question would be,
Compensation.
this would be more appropriate for an executive to discuss, you know, I mean, I don't wanna. You know. We're gonna start talking money, I mean, do we wanna do that here, or do we, you know, or should we do it in an executive session?
I don't think we can do it in executive
Yeah.
session because the
Not-
person doesn't exist yet. So it's, we're not talking about a person's pay, we're talking about a position. So I don't think we can do that in
But I
executive.
think that negotiation would affect the overall contracts that we have entered into now, right?
Yes,
No, or yes?
yes,
Yes.
yes.
Could
I
this,
mean, hypothetically speaking, yeah, it makes sense.
I'm just wondering if, you get the consensus that that's approved by us. And 2 weeks later, or not even, a month later, we still can't find anybody. We may have to consider then coming back here for that. I'd almost think that I'd like to find somebody that, you know, you're happy with, Bert's happy with, everybody's happy with. And then, let's get a price, and if it's $1.50, or if it's $3, if we have to get somebody in here to do the job, because it's certainly gonna be less money than if we farm everything out.
Okay, I just have to figure out whether we can draft a posting and put it up without going through a discussion with the union about the contract. I'm not sure we can just go post a rate. So,
That's fine, I'm just saying that we may be back here then. You may have that discussion once more.
I guess what I'm asking for is, it's not budgeted, right? And I think we need to start having conversations with the union to change the contract for that particular rate.
And I think what we could do today is tell you that we would support you in that endeavor. But obviously there's other issues at hand, such as the union discussions
Mhm.
and finding somebody. But I think that, you know, I don't want to speak for the rest of the board, but I think we would support that in order to find the right individual. Largely because they're going to be taking care of a lot of vehicles that we've invested a lot of money in, and we want to make sure we have the right people doing that.
I would
Yep.
second that as well, so I'd rather make sure we find the right person and a competent person than to take a chance on somebody that we're gonna own for a little while, that's not gonna work out.
If we're on the same page.
Yeah, I think we as a board would support that. Support you moving forward with trying to find the right individual and doing so at the right rate. And we'll work with you on the town budget side to make that happen.
Okay, thank you.
Because unless I'm wrong, I don't think there's anything else we can act on.
Yeah, no, we're good. I believe I have to go back and reread it, but I think the state, I don't think it's in effect until October 1st, but you can't post a job without putting in a salary. But I'm pretty sure we're okay for now, so we could put in commensurate with experience or something for now and see if we get better applicants. Because right now we're outsourcing everything and it's, you know, we have a lot of budgets that are over. Those police cruisers need a lot of oil changes.
We talked about the mechanic. Is there something you want to mention about the crew leader?
Yes, they're two separate topics technically. And this is a similar kind of conversation. So I think everyone's aware that, Glenn has retired, as of the end of April. And I can tell you that, even though I am the acting highway supervisor, my acting skills are poor. The crew leader has been going above and beyond and helping out and doing a lot of tasks that a superintendent would be doing. So we had a discussion at the Board of Selectmen meeting about potentially giving the crew leader some salary adjustment for the period of time that he has been filling in that capacity. So this is another, of course, unbudgeted item. But I have an MOA drafted that we would use to have a discussion and sort of an MOA that would attach to the contract to
Is
offer.
this also an issue to pass through, the union? Or-
Oh, yeah.
Is this something we should, this something we should be discussing in executive session?
I'm not using any numbers at the moment.
Okay. Understood, but when we get to that point.
Yes.
Yep.
Yep.
Again, don't want to speak for the board, but I think that that's something, an initiative that we would support as well.
Okay. Thank you. That's it.
Okay. Old business, discussion around the request to reappropriate capital project funds. I had some communication with the Board of Education around the request and around the supplemental education funds that were expected to receive, and how we would like to work with them to use those funds to allocate to some capital needs that they have, as well as some other expenses that are expected but were not budgeted their budget. So and they're not here to discuss with us right now because Natalia's on vacation. So we'll go ahead and we'll table this until we have a chance to discuss further with them, and we can discuss as board. Next item of old business, does anybody have any questions or?
I'm just gonna say, just as side, that maybe we should require, if they've gone out to get some bids on these first two, on the two large expenditures for the cupola and the auditorium roof repair.
I haven't seen any bids yet. I did see a bid for the Chromebooks that they were asking for, but that was it. Nothing on the.
So just as a matter of reference, the communication was such that, generally projects any overfunding of capital projects in the past are not necessarily allocated directly to the Board of Education. They're town overages, and as such would go into the town unallocated capital fund. And to allocate funds at this level, being over $20,000, which would generally require 3 bids and town vote, probably isn't something that we want to do just in a Board of Ed or Board of Finance meeting. However, with the supplemental funds, there, as I understand it, in order to allocate those funds from the town to the board, there has to be a town meeting. And within that allocation, in town meeting, they can designate those funds for those capital improvements, and we would meet all the necessary requirements. In addition to those requested funds, there'd be about another $100,000 that would go to them that we've also requested they utilize to offset some other expenses that aren't currently in the budget as it relates to some contract negotiations.
I don't know if we should just tell their business manager, because it's in our minutes, that they're gonna get us some bids. So even though we're gonna be going to a town meeting, we still need the bids.
They'll still need them for the, I would expect that we'd still want.
Send it. then to
Yep.
the selectmen.
Yep. Yeah, there was no discussion that there's no further conversation, or that it was,
Yeah.
the communication was just, look, this is how we'd like to see things allocated, and we would be happy to discuss as a board to see how we can work together to get the capital needs dealt with and to allocate the supplemental funds. So, which is why, rather than just striking this from our minutes, I think that we table this as old business for the next meeting. And
So moved.
okay. Second,
Okay.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. All right, next item of old business is the municipal solid waste RFP.
Yep. So did you share the spreadsheet with
Yep.
them? Yeah, they have that. So we went out to bid, for, municipal solid wastes. So the collection and the disposal of the solid waste. As you may recall, we have, tentatively agreed, we basically agreed to a contract for recycling with Murphy Road. So I wrote the RFP such that the bidders would have to provide prices on the collection, the disposal of the solid waste, and then the delivery of the recyclables to Murphy Road, but also a backup for Murphy Road should they not be able to take anything at the time that they need to. So had conversations with 3 potential bidders. They provided a sealed, well, they were asked to provide a sealed bid. Only one of them did, CWPM. So CWPM is our current provider, which I think we're generally happy with. However, when the numbers came back, there were significant increases in a couple of areas. And Tracy and I were able to work with them and get some of those numbers down in terms of some of the dumpster collection and stuff. And then also to negotiate down the per ton rate. We negotiated that down quite a bit. However, there is still a gap to what we budgeted. A pretty sizable gap of about $89,000.
Can you just maybe walk through the theory behind the increase, the 2 significant increases being the collection, transport, and the condos?
Yeah, there's 2 big pieces. So today we're paying about $101.76 a ton. That's going to go up to 105. Am I right?
No, we're paying 101.48 this year. I had budgeted 101.76 based on a 3% increase.
Okay,
But
sorry.
they came in at 105.
105. Well, they came in at 120.
Well, yeah.
We got them down to 105. That's a big piece of it. The other piece is related to the condos. So the condos, and the condos and the dumpsters, but the condos are really sort of the other big gap. When we originally contracted with them, I don't even know how many years ago, a lot. The condos got bins. So basically some set number of bins, which was technically, toters like an individual home would have, the green one and the blue one. And those numbers of toters were not like one per unit necessarily. Some of them were shared, so there was a smaller number. Many of the condos, it became difficult to manage from a variety of perspectives on both sides of that equation. So a lot of the condos replaced those toters with dumpsters. And that's a different pick process and a different cost. When that replacement happened, CWPM never corrected the charges for that switch. Now they're taking that opportunity to make that change. So that's why that condos line that you see is so much higher. So the rate that we had been paying was if we had some small number of toters sitting there, as opposed to a dumpster that's being tipped with a different frequency.
Where would the proposed money come from for this fiscal year? It's for the budget we've already approved. it's too much for contingency. The only thing I could think of maybe is that line in the capital budget that was kind of open for things, but that's supposed to be for capital. And the only other thing would then be to go to our surplus.
Yeah, so I believe that depending on how the conversation goes with
Yeah.
the Board of Ed, then we do have contingency that would cover
Cover
this.
supplemental funds.
Yeah. So the discussion that we need to have with the BOE is around whether or not portion that we budgeted for related to certain negotiations, contracts, would now be covered with these new supplemental funds as opposed to coming out of the town side of the budget. And if that's the case, if it's covered with the supplemental funds, then we will have, that'll free up the contingency that we were otherwise allocated.
Some of that NIP money be applied. It is after all recycling. Beautification.
So I don't think, so I think
I
there's.
don't see why not.
Um,
Use it to pay
let's not
Murphy
get there
Road
just yet.
and then offset that. Sorry.
So I think I agree with George that if we don't have contingency, then really we're looking at potentially hitting the undesignated fund. But I'd say let's let some other conversations play out before we get to that point. I don't think we don't need to do any allocation right now. But I think what are you looking for us to approve? This?
It has to go to town.
It
meeting
has to go to
because it's a
town meeting.
multi-year contract,
Okay.
Yeah.
so you guys need to approve the vendor so we can send, or the contract so we can send it to town meeting.
And again, you reached out to several vendors, but CWPM is the only vendor that
Yes.
responded to you guys.
One other came to the pre-bid meeting, but chose not to bid.
So is this an approval and we'll figure out how to pay for it? I mean, let's just put it out there.
Yeah, so yes, but I think that we have a feasible way to do that based on communication with the Board of Ed.
Yeah.
And then if not, it'll be the less desirable way.
It's gotta be done one way or the other.
Yeah, right.
I think a motion, I think we should approve it and let's get on with it.
Yeah, and we'll figure out the shell game of it all.
So you want to recommend this for town meeting?
Yep.
I would like to make a motion that we recommend this.
Do we need the email?
No, because honestly, the tip fee is an estimate because we don't know what the run is, so it's not a fixed amount. So it's just a 5-year contract with CWP.
Motion that we recommend the CWPM bid for town meeting.
The bid for a 5-year contract.
I'm sorry, 5-year contract.
Do I have a second?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
Thank you. Town meeting is the 18th at 6 o'clock in Lena Morton.
Okay, and next in old business organizational realignment.
Yep. So we've talked about this conceptually before. This is the topic whereby I'm proposing that we merge the highway superintendent with the WPCA superintendent role and then create a new role that's a reporting coordinator to help us with all our environmental reporting, like stormwater pollution prevention plans and things like that. As well as help out with some project coordination, and some grant writing. So the WPCA Commission has unanimously supported this idea. And the Board of Selectmen has also approved it, not unanimously. So it will now go to town meeting, that same town meeting on the 18th for approval. The call is written such that the Board of Selectmen and or the WPCA Commission can vote to return to the old model of two separate superintendents, should there be any challenges or any concerns going forward. So I'm just notifying you.
Rich, there are two different budgets. How are we gonna handle that? You know,
We are going to, the WPCA is going to pay what they pay into this budget, exactly what they budgeted for next year. And the remainder will come out of the town side from what we budgeted for next year.
just be for 1 year, then.
Yes. And then we can discuss if we need to make some changes down the road. The reporting coordinator will report directly to me. And the new combined public services superintendent will report to both the WPCA and myself.
Does that have to be run by the union too?
It does not, it's not a union position. I don't know if I mentioned this last time I was here, but I called the DEEP person who is responsible for our WPCA facility, had a long conversation with him, told him what the plan was, asked him what potential concerns he may have. I know other towns do this. He asked me a series of questions, at the end of which he said, "You've answered all the questions that I would have asked. So I don't have any issue with it." So.
Now, you said other towns have this type of arrangement, so there's individuals out there that have the skill set to fit this position, this new position.
Yes. And there's a job description that I've written, that should the town agree to this, will be posted. And we will see who applies.
And this saves us money.
This does not save us money, but it doesn't cost us that much more.
No, and I think Steve, what the objective is, and I don't want to speak for Rich, but it gives us a better environment of compliance. So we'll have somebody focused on compliance.
Yep.
And it'll also finally give us somebody that will focus on grant writing for both sides of the house.
It'll also streamline services that we provide. And equipment utilization. And a few other things.
I said other towns have done this, like, have you talked to other towns that have this model or?
Yep. Litchfield has something similar.
So we're seeing several efficiencies here.
Yes. Yep.
And take, for instance, what we just allocated $15,000 for, something that this role would be responsible for, that would have been captured.
If we had been, our WPCA has been continuously working that reporting process all along. If that same scenario had been happening for the other two facilities, we wouldn't be in this position to have to go out and hire an engineer to do this work for us.
Isn't that just a function of the superintendent, maybe not staying on top of that stuff? On that side of the ledger.
I can tell you that the rate that we paid our highway superintendent was significantly lower than the going rate. So I don't want to litigate the past.
But this will give us somebody with expertise that will maintain that, yes, on that side. Okay, I don't think any action is required from us.
No, I'm just
But,
giving you,
yep.
I'm updating you.
All right, any other questions? No. Okay. Then Rich will move to the first selectman's report.
Yeah, I lied. So I mentioned the town meeting. But I will tell you that the day before the town meeting, which is the Wednesday, the 17th, we will have a public information session for the Elm Street project. We are now at a point where with the engineering that, we can go back to the public and get some input, that will allow Ty and Bond to then take this up to the point where we can submit it to the DOT.
What day was that? What day? and time?
17th, which is the Wednesday, also at 6, also in Lena Morton,
6 o'clock.
6 o'clock.
Town meetings at 6:30, right?
No, 6.
Well,
Everything's at 6. Just letting you know, that's all. It took a little longer for us to get where we wanted to get on this project because we took the step to make sure that we lined up everything that needed to happen on that road. So Connecticut Water wants to redo their main. WPCA has some things they want to do on the road. So we want to make sure the design had everything laid out together with all those other stakeholders and that we were all holding hands to say, when we rip this thing out, we're all going to put our stuff in and then we're going to pave it and it's going to be done. Hopefully.
I was gonna say, what are the odds that's gonna work out?
A boy can dream, George.
He said he's gonna stand in the middle of the road until everything's in, so they don't lay any pavement.
And everybody so far is on board. So, that's where we are in that project. That is really the only key update I have after everything else. So thank you.
Financial director's report.
If you've got the report for May, you'll see we finally went over 100% on tax revenue, so we've hit the 99% that we budgeted. That's good news. Our charges for services are also at 110%, thanks mostly to road jobs that our police department's doing. It's bringing in a lot of revenue right now. Waterbury keeps breaking their water mains. We'll be in better shape. On the expenditure side, there's no new departments that I'm expecting to go over other than ones we've already talked about. Snow and ice elections, town hall. K9, I think I can't remember if I told you guys last month, Watertown realized that they hadn't billed us for last year, so they said 2 years bills in 1 year, so that unfortunately put that budget over, but
Because we had already closed out.
we had already closed out,
Yeah.
yeah. So that's where we are.
Great, thank you. Any member comment? Public comment? All right. I will.
There's a
entertain
couple.
Motion to adjourn.
There's a couple people online. If anyone online would like to comment, you can. Oh, never mind. It's only Tony.
It's only Tony.
You can adjourn if you wish.
I still entertain a motion to adjourn. Second. All those in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Anyone?